Hi guys, Judy here. I'm not making a video with my diffuser on in the dark because I brought my diffuser to work because I have this cat that I've let in the house who's like a little homeless guy. And I noticed that it was making him a little sick. The other ones are fine with it. It's a totally safe essential oil for animals, but I think he's a little sickly. So anyway, no glowing light. Sorry, it's me in the dark here. But I want to share today a little message. I had okay, so somebody asked me this question today. They said they used to be so close to Jesus, all their time was spent with him, and now they're caring for their elderly mother, they don't have the time they had. This person says, my mom has TV on all day and she likes to watch shows I would never watch. I was never excuse me, a TV person. I had worship music going on all the time. I still listen to it when I can steal the time away. But I don't feel as close to Jesus as I used to, and that breaks my heart. It scares me a little too. What if I'm not found worthy when he returns? He's always been all I've had. All I've done had always been for him. I miss him and me, and I can't stand the thought of being left. How do we know? Okay, so I want to kind of answer this in a video because you're probably not the only one that has this going on, okay? And let's just start with the first part. You always had your worship music playing and all this, and that's beautiful. I had a lot of those same habits and patterns. And one day, God wanted to change all that. He said, it was a process. It wasn't just one whole day, but it was like God's kind of abrupt though, too. He can change things in a day. All right. Like when he fell on my son and changed the total course of my life in 2013. But like, this was more of a process. He told me he wanted me to leave organized church. He wanted to teach me some things. And that was a big, huge thing for me because like, wait, but worship and I had a lot of not religious in a bad sense, but godly, I should call it, godly habits where I would pray right when I got up, or I'd have a certain amount of worship time, and then I'd speak in tongues. I had routines and habits that were healthy and good and sustained me and strengthened me. And God wanted to wreck those too. He told me one day, he said, I want you to take me out of your prayer closet and take me into the world with you. Take me to your son's ball game. Take me to work, take me to the grocery store. Like, don't just relegate me. And I didn't think I was doing that, but he wanted more. So I actually had to stop doing all those things. I mean, worship is my favorite thing. Like turning on that music and singing along, or even just listening to it and speaking in tongues and all that. He wanted me to not do that. And I'm so glad that I don't have those things as crutches anymore, because I think without realizing it, we develop crutches. We have patterns and habits and routines, and these aren't necessarily bad, but what's bad is when we rely on those routines, crutches, and habits more than Christ. Oh, I got to speak in my tongues for half an hour. I'll feel it. I'll know what to do, and then, or I've got to turn on my worship. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Actually, the tongues thing's not a good one because I kept doing that. He wanted me to stop doing. So the better one is just like the worship, not because what about people that don't have the ability to access music? I mean, so God wants to take those crutches away. So, he's still with you all day long. You think that you're not worshiping him because you didn't play your music. You worship him with your attitude. God told me one day, you can worship me by not worrying. Because I would spend tons of time in worship, and as soon as I got out of that worship closet, I'd open my eyes and I would just worry about everything, as if I never had that beautiful time with him. And he felt sad for me. I could tell he felt bad, like, just worship me today by not worrying. Basically what he was saying was like, I'm not really impressed with all that worship, because when you get out of that closet, you're just a big mess. Why don't you just worship me by not worrying, that changed my life when he told me that one day. I was going through a tough time. I had just been divorced and had a baby. And, well, I mean, my baby was 3, but it was just a rough time. And that's what he told me. And so I have worshiped him by not worrying. And so, these are crutches and things that we just kind of habits. I know this is kind of a weird video the way I'm saying this, because I'm not saying don't have your godly habits and routines, but if God is not allowing them, like for instance, this person that that commented said she doesn't really have a choice because the person she's taking care of has TV on all day. Okay? So, yeah, she can't have her worship on. So what, you think God left? No. You're feeling guilty and think he's still not with you? No. He's blessing you because you're taking care of your elderly mother. It's a very godly thing. Maybe he wants you to watch and sit and watch those TV shows with her. I know it sounds weird, but when God did all this rearranging in my life over the years, it's been a while now, I'm just move and flow with it. I mean, God and I sit down and watch. People think it's weird, but I don't care what you think. But I mean, I do care what you think, but I've got to share this, and it's not, people aren't going to like it, but God and I watch movies together. He'll want to watch movies with me. And some people think that's so unspiritual. Like, I can see if you and God are worshiping or doing this, but no, God and I really, in the kind of movies we watch, you might think that's weird that God couldn't love that. Okay. But, me and God watch some things together that he enjoys and we enjoy, and he talks to me during them and we hang out. I know it's weird, but none of this would have happened if he didn't change my mindset and take me out of church and just become real with me. Okay, so I just want to tell this person that sent this comment. I also emailed you, but yeah, you're still going in the rapture. How do you know you're going? Okay, so so your first question is like, you feel like you're far away from him. Well, that's just you. That's what you think because you think that you're not having your same routines, but he's still as close to you as ever. Be with him while you watch the TV with her. You don't have to have worship music all the time going to be intimate with Christ. He's probably trying to teach you how to abide, and that's what he was teaching me. I want you to abide with me. You don't even have to go into your prayer closet. Your life can be a life of prayer. You can pray 24/7. I was like, really? And so I began to just believe that and be like, yeah, everything I'm doing is holy. Everything that people think isn't holy, washing my car, taking care of my family, spending time with my son, see, that's holy because Christ is doing it with me. Do you see what I mean? So, and Jesus, when he was here, if you kind of look, God was with him when he was doing all his stuff. He was mostly woodworking. During all his life. I mean, he did 3 years of ministry, but he moved and flowed with God during that time. And, so you think it's not spiritual? You think God doesn't know your schedule? And he was preparing me for this time, because if I was still in that mindset, I would think God's mad at me and doesn't like me anymore because I don't have time to do what I used to do. But, he gave me a really busy schedule now right before he got here to show me I know how to abide in him, so it's not a problem. God and I abide while I'm at work. We abide while I'm doing homeschooling with my son. We abide while I'm walking my dog, and we abide, and I'm always with him, and it's never like, oh, this is my separate life. Okay, I'm going in my worship closet. Okay, now I'm going to go do other things, and God's not there. No, he's always there if you invite him up in it. I really challenge you to do that, people. Just acknowledge him and bring him up in everything. It's actually really fun. It's not weird. And I think you'll find that activities that you might have felt guilty for, wow, God, really? You want to do this with me? Because I would think maybe you didn't love this. Our God is creative and he's fun. You'll be shocked. He wrecked my world. He's wrecked my world. Like, I just love him more and more the more I get to know him and the more I receive his love and acceptance and really who he is. He's not I don't know how we get our ideas about him. I think it's from religion, honestly. He's really not like those things he's like some of the things we learn, but a lot of it's kind of not true. Okay. And I always thought it was true, but God has got a great personality. He's pretty sarcastic. Where do you think we get all this from? If we're made in his image, where do you think we get our goofiness, or, our he can be a brat. I mean, he messes with me, but it's fun because I know it's all good. It's love, But like, you want to be a little brat sometimes. Well, listen, I'm not trying to, give human attributes to God, but we are made in his image. So you got to know that, like, God possesses a lot of the things that we possess because we're made in his image. Okay. So as you get more intimate and get to know him, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. So, and some of you already know what I'm talking about, and we're all going deeper in it. I am. That's why this is my favorite topic, because it's the most exciting to me. Anyway, so other people, we all have our thing. This is my thing, okay? Just this dude, I just love him, and I just can't help but, want to go deeper with somebody that has consumed me and that I love so much. It's just, I can't help it. I'm obsessed, okay? But it's a healthy obsession, and I invite you into it if you don't have that, because the Lord fulfills, he completes, and he inspires us, and I bring him all up in my messes too. It's messy. Life's messy, so Christ doesn't come to take your messes away. He comes to go up all in it and teach you lessons through it and bring you through and make you stronger. And that's the truth, okay? And you'll say, oh, maybe you messed up. You shouldn't have been in this situation. Yeah, maybe I messed up. No, God told me my 2 divorces qualified me to do what I'm, to do what I'm doing now, or to do other things in my life that I've done. He said, what you saw as failure, or what the world said was failure, was me qualifying you. You're ready now. You won't hurt anyone, because you've been hurt in every way, and I need people I can trust that will tell people who I really am without hurting them, because, a lot of ministers and people that speak for God, they're not very nice, and they're mean, and you're like, God wants people to know I'm not like that. That's what I really hope to get across when I make these videos, is that you can know the real Christ, that he really does love you, and he cares, and he doesn't count your sin against you. I don't encourage sin, but please don't think you have to stop sinning before you get to know him. You just bring him all up in it, then he changes your desires, and he will. You have to be patient with yourself. Quit thinking that he's mad at you. He's not. Jesus paid the price on the cross for our sins, so God's not even holding it against you. You hold it against you, and therefore separate yourself from him. It's just not an issue. I've come so far in that area, it's just not an issue. It's because I know he already paid for it, so it's just not an issue. Other things God and I deal with, and struggle with. I have other struggles, I've already talked to you. I worry sometimes, and we've come a long way, but I'll still be a worrywart probably until he gets here. But like, that's how I get deeper with him. I bring him all up in it. I acknowledge it. I know it's sin to worry, and he helps me. Okay. And sometimes it's just a habit, and I have to acknowledge it and go, wait, stop that. Don't do that. Anyway, guys, I love you. I have more to say, but how do you know you're going in the rapture? Well, when you have a friendship with somebody, how do you know you're going to coffee? Because you guys talked about it. It's very simple. It's not as complicated as people make it think. Why would I go in the rapture? Because I know God. But Judy, I don't know him like this. Well, start talking to him and get to know him. It doesn't take long, okay? You have time right now. Get to know him. All right? And you'll know. Because you are going. If you know him and you love others, and you've forgiven others, and you have love in your heart, and you don't have judgment for others, and you believe that Christ loves you and wants you there at the marriage supper of the Lamb, you're going. You think, because I don't worship 5 hours a day like I used to, and I think he's mad at me, and he's not. No, but I will tell you that he did tell my son that you will not be going in the rapture if you don't love others, if you have hatred in your heart toward others. It's a ceremony for lovers of God and lovers of one another. So there you go. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.